very important role that social science research can play in formulating public policy is to provide accurate, factual information. And here I want to make a distinction between facts and values. As a social scientist, I really have no role in telling you what your personal beliefs and values should be, whether you personally are accepting of gay and lesbian individuals, whether you support same-sex marriage or not, or in contrast, whether you think homosexuality is immoral and you strongly oppose same-sex marriage. Those are your values. But what I can do as a social science researcher, and what I think I have an obligation to do, is to lay out the best available evidence about the true nature of same-sex couples and their relationships. There are many negative ideas in American society about homosexuality and same-sex couples, and social science has an important part to play in testing those ideas. In the 1950s and 60s, many Americans believed that lesbians and gay men were suffering from some form of mental illness, that homosexuality was a form of pathology. Based on growing research evidence, professional organizations came to the consensus opinion that that was absolutely not true. And over time, that view equating homosexuality and psychopathology has diminished in American society. More recently, researchers have examined some of the stereotypes about same-sex couples. And I think there are three important stereotypes that have been looked at. One is the idea that same-sex couples can't form happy, satisfying relationships based on love and commitment. Research has shown that this is absolutely not the case, that same-sex couples' relationships are not in any way, in general, inferior to those of heterosexuals, that on average these relationships are very similar. Second, stereotypes suggest that same-sex couples form relationships that are short-lived and don't last very long. That too turns out not to be true. Research has documented that many same-sex couples form relationships that last years and years and years. And finally, a third belief has been that somehow the processes that affect the well-being of same-sex couples and heterosexual couples are different, that the factors that make a difference in these relationships, whether they're happy, whether they stay together, somehow don't work the same for gay couples as they do for heterosexual couples. And that too turns out to be without foundation. It's not the case. Here again, we've found great similarities. So I think a major way in which social science contributes both to educating voters and to providing information for policymakers is to provide the absolutely best available, up-to-date information about the realities of same-sex couples and the lives of lesbians and gay men.